Yamaha is engaged in a broad spectrum of events with the aim of creating a new motorcycle culture while expanding the motorsports and motorcycle leisure markets. In addition, we make proposals to motorcycle stores in all areas on the subject of easy-to-run events, leading to a larger number of customers visiting stores and more sales. Based on our extensive know-how, the Yamaha Riding Challenge program is a system that supports events held at the individual store level on a global basis. Motorcycles serve as an everyday means of transportation and as vehicles. However, the real attraction of motorcycles is in the pleasure that comes from handling the machine. Among the events that Yamaha has proposed so far, the Yamaha Riding Challenge program allows people to rediscover the sheer pleasure of handling the machine. Moreover, these events do not require large-scale equipment and preparations, such as races and schools would. The events are conducted under Yamaha's official integrated rules, which are simple and allow anyone to participate. Competition event records are displayed on our internet website. By exercising ingenuity, spaces that are too small to allow race events to take place, but are venues where people can easily congregate, such as parking lots adjacent to the store and public spaces such as parks, can still be used for motorcycle events tailored to the available space. These events can also be held in conjunction with other events if adequate space is available. For example, you could hold such events in conjunction with regular test riding of motorcycles organized by the store. If vacant spaces such as parking lots are used, you can attain a deeper level of communication with potential customers who come to test ride the motorcycles. These events could also be held at the goals of touring events as a form of recreation. This video provides an explanation of a mini event held in the parking lot of a motorcycle store. Competition events involving motorcycle riding techniques can be very enjoyable, even in a small space like a parking lot. The Yamaha Riding Challenge program encompasses 3 official events: slow riding balance, standing still balance, and slalom. Participants can try just one event or a combination of several events. In the slow riding balance event, the rider must cross a plank bridge 30 centimeters wide, 15 meters long, and 5 centimeters high without falling off. If this 15-meter bridge is made up of several sections, it is easier to transport. The height does not need to be exact. However, a plank with an adequate thickness is needed. The rider moves forward as slowly as possible, and the rider with the slowest crossing time wins the event. If the front or rear wheels of the motorcycle depart from the plank, the competitor is disqualified. The rider is also disqualified if his or her feet touch the ground. This event requires balance, precision machine control, and concentration. The standing still balance event also needs a very good sense of balance. In this event, a zone is formed by placing a board of 3 meters by 1.5 meters on the ground, or by marking out such a zone with tape, etc., on a flat, even surface. The competition is to see how long the rider can remain within the perimeters of this rectangle. While riding within this rectangle, if anything other than the tires comes into contact with the ground, such as the rider's foot, the ride is terminated. However, this is not a disqualification, and the time to the ground contact infringement is recorded. The slalom requires a good sense of balance, as well as speed and precision machine control. 9 cones are used, and a course such as that seen here is laid out. 2 cone gate posts are placed at both the entrance and exit of the course, with the cones spaced 2 meters apart. The rider must weave around each of 5 cones, spaced 4.5 meters apart, in an alternating weaving motion, as quickly as possible. The rider can enter the course from either the left or right side. If the rider or bike touches the cones or knocks them over, the competitor is disqualified. In each of these 3 competition events, staff members share the various task allotments among themselves, such as overall coordination marshals, receptionists, and record keepers, based on the number of people available. The receptionist initially processes the participants in these events. The marshals explain the rules to the participants and guide them into position. They also undertake the role of umpires. Using a stopwatch to measure times, records are kept by the timekeepers. Ideally, all of these roles should be divided up among several people, depending on the size of the event. However, if only a few people are available, you can double up on some roles. For example, the marshals could also keep records, etc. When running these events, it is important to ensure safety and a smooth flow of events, so that the participants do not feel stress. Now let's look at a concrete example of how the event should be run, using the slow riding balance event as an example. The holder of the event provides the motorcycles used in the event. The receptionist hands a form to those who wish to participate, and the applicant fills in personal data such as name and address. This form is like a patient record chart at a hospital. By using this effectively, you can also obtain useful customer data. If many people want to take part, ask them to line up in a queue as they wait for their turn to participate. At this time, the participants should have their completed forms. From the standby position, the marshal takes over. The marshal receives the application form from the participant and checks to see that all the required information has been provided. If there are no problems with the application form data, hand the form to the record keeper. Explain the rules of the event and the points to observe to the participant. The participant mounts the motorcycle and proceeds to the standby start point 3 meters in front of the bridge plank. The marshal then gives the start signal. During the event, please keep a watch on the audience and ensure that the event is carried out in safety. Then bring in the next competitor and explain the rules, etc. The record keeper uses a stopwatch and ensures that the times of the competitors are recorded accurately and calls out the time as soon as the event has been completed. The recorded time is immediately noted in the record sheet. The records accumulated to date are periodically recorded on a large sheet and displayed during the rest periods, etc. The overall competition procedure is the same for the standing still balance and the slalom events. Special attention should be given to ensuring that the time measurement points are accurately adhered to. In the case of the slow riding balance event, a signal is given when the rider is 3 meters from the plank at the start point, but the timing is measured from the moment when the front wheel mounts the plank. When the rear wheel leaves the plank at the end, the timing is stopped. In the case of the standing still balance event, the timing starts when the entire motorcycle, both front and rear wheels, are within the designated zone of 3 meters by 1.5 meters, and the watch is stopped if either the front or rear wheel crosses any line, or if the rider's foot touches the ground, even if both wheels are inside the safe area. In the case of the slalom, time measurement starts when the start signal is given on the starting line at the entrance portal. The watch is stopped when the front wheel passes over the exit line and the motorcycle is stationary. In one competition, each competitor can make up to 3 attempts at each event. Even if the number of participants is large, please ensure that each competitor does not have to wait too long. When the competition is over, the participants are handed a certificate of their event times. Draft the certificate using Yamaha's data as a guide. It might also be a good idea to give the participants a gift. It does not need to be an expensive item. Something that they can keep as a souvenir would be good, such as a cap or a t-shirt advertising your store. If there's sufficient time, you could have a ceremony for the top competitors. The objective of these events held at your store is to get more people to visit the store and to stimulate the flow of your business. After the event, you should display the results of the competition in your store, and this will encourage these potential customers to visit your store again. At this time, you could introduce and explain the Yamaha Riding Challenge Program website to your potential customers. This website displays a record of competitions by countries and by areas. Your customers can seek out their own names and see how well they have done, both in their own country and on a global basis. You and your customers will have lots to talk about, such as ways of improving performance, future competition events, and their aspirations. After the competition, the records are compiled and sent by email or by fax to the Yamaha department handling this. As soon as these records arrive, they will be posted on our website. The form completed at the competition is like a hospital patient chart. You should process this important customer data and store it carefully so you can use it effectively. For example, you can use this data for publicity when you are preparing for a new competition event or a sale, so as to get these people to visit your store again. If you have enough space on your premises, you could allow customers to practice for these competitions using their own motorcycles. This would mean that people who like motorcycles would gather here, and it would become a venue for exchanging information and so on. This would also vitalize the flow of business in your store. The Yamaha Riding Challenge Program competitions become even more effective for your bottom line if you hold them on a continuous basis rather than just a one-off event. If you hold these events on a regular basis, it will give people more reasons to visit your store, and this will help you in your endeavors to have a dynamically active store. The most effective way of boosting sales is to ensure that as many people as possible get to understand the pleasure of riding motorcycles. This will lead to the creation of a Yamaha motorcycle culture, a company that operates under the slogan of touching your heart.